Husband screamed at me on Mother's Day saying he had no reason to appreciate me, but after I showed him online comments he admitted he was wrong and we ended up booking multiple holidays together. I, 41F, got up this morning around 8 with my husband, 38M, and there was no mention of it being Mother's Day. That's fine, we carried on our morning exactly the same as any other weekend morning. I did the washing, made breakfast and put a roast in the oven. My husband spent some of his morning looking for a car for our son who is 17, his broke down a few days ago and isn't worth repairing. At around 1 p.m. I decided to go and dye my eyebrows, but as I was getting my stuff ready, my husband tells me I should go back downstairs and help our son get some quotes for insurance. His policy is a multi-car policy on my insurance, so I would need to do it for him. I explained that I was busy, but my husband shouted at me that I need to go downstairs and help our son. I was so upset at this point that nobody had even mentioned Mother's Day that I called them both dicks for being so inconsiderate. At that point my husband went mental with me and screamed that I'm not his mother, so why would he do anything for me? He told me I was weird for even suggesting it and that I was a weirdo for being annoyed that he wished his own mama happy Mother's Day. He did in fact put a post on his Facebook page telling her she's the best for everything she does for him. That did irk me because since we've been together it's me that does everything for him. I wasn't annoyed he wished her a happy Mother's Day, it sounds stupid but I was upset that he tagged her. Whenever he puts a post about us, he never tags me, he just calls me the wife. I just feel that at every opportunity his mom gets better treatment than me. Anyway, he then shouted that my son is old enough to do something for me without my being involved. Totally agree with this, I am upset with him too, and to stop making everything about me. I was so shocked to hear this that I said I wouldn't bother about his birthday tomorrow then. He screamed that was fine, he wasn't expecting anything anyway because I have nothing to give him. I've never felt so hurt and unappreciated with his comments. So did I do something wrong here? I never expected a gift or anything of any value, but it would have made me feel appreciated if there had been some effort, even just a kiss to say I'm a good mom. I intend to show him this post because he doesn't believe husbands should appreciate their partners on Mother's Day, so I'd like to hear others' views. Thanks edit. In my original post I talked about our son who is 17. After my husband had read your comments he wanted me to let you know that he is not my son's dad and just the stepdad. My husband has been in his life since he was 10 and has always treated him like a son and has been there through many huge milestones. I didn't feel the need to put that he was the stepdad because I don't see him like that and I didn't realize that's how he's seen our son. He tells everyone he's ours. Apparently it will make a difference to your opinions. I really apologize if I misled anyone, it wasn't my intention, I just really see him as his dad. Like I've said in my comments below, he has done stuff for Mother's Day previously. This just feels like a final kick in the teeth. Update 1. Firstly, thank you also so much for the kind words, advice and love you sent me on Sunday. I was overwhelmed with the response I received so couldn't reply to all comments. I thought you all deserved an update around what happened afterwards. Unfortunately things got a bit worse on Sunday evening with some pretty nasty stuff been thrown my way. My husband told me the reason he was so resentful towards me was because he helped me financially for a few months after several things happened at once. We moved house, I changed jobs which meant a change in pay date for me and also a few weeks without a salary, which he knew about, it was planned for and he told me he'd cover. Then my car had a major breakdown which he paid to have fixed. This is the first time that he's helped me financially, we've always split everything 50-50. Basically he's annoyed that he lost money that he'll never get back. In our early days I helped him when he didn't have much. I helped him set up his business which is doing really well now and I look after all of his accounts, wages, invoices, VAT returns etc. without a wage. So him telling me he resented me for helping me, really hurt because I'm his wife and I've lost count how many hours I've also put into his business. When we talked about it yesterday I told him his behavior towards me is unacceptable and I won't tolerate it anymore. I told him he can't resent me for helping me, it's his bloody job just like it's mine to help him when I can. I told him he needs to get some professional help because his behavior isn't acceptable. I've wondered for a long time if there's some undiagnosed condition. He agreed that he knows he needs some help and acknowledged he knows what he's done and said is wrong. So I've given him 1 week to find someone and book an appointment. If he does this I'll support him to work through his past. He was emotionally abused by his stepdad, and hopefully we'll have a stronger marriage. Or he'll conveniently forget about what he's promised and continue being horrible to me. If he chooses this option, what he won't realize is that I won't argue with him about it or cry, I'll simply be making a plan to leave. I'll give him a chance because I love him, but I won't waste my life on someone who doesn't want or respect me. As for his mother, her response to our fight was that it's my behavior that's a problem and he should go and stay with her. That relationship for me is now dead, I'll be polite but that's it. Thanks again for all your support. It's really made me realize I have options. Update 2. Reddit. I need your honest opinion on this one. My husband and I have been together 10 years, married 7 and have a pretty normal relationship. Nothing major has ever happened. We both work, have decent salaries which are similar so we don't really struggle. My husband has his own business which on top of my own full-time job, I manage all his finances, invoices, accounts etc. I don't get paid and I don't want paid either. It's our business so it's in my best interest for it to do well. We have 2 employees who are young/apprentices so not able to work without my husband being with them. This is the issue, because my husband is self-employed he rarely takes time off for holidays. He'll sometimes take days off through the week when the weather is poor and he'll go off for the day on his electric MTB. I have no issues with this. Over the last 5 years we've been on holiday once, which was last year for a week and he's thinking about taking another week off this year in the summer. Here's where we don't agree, he's wanting to go off on his own to visit his friend in France with his bike. In any other situation I wouldn't even comment on him going. My problem is he won't take any more holidays to go with me at a different time. So in effect, we won't go on holiday together until 2027. I think this is unreasonable. I would always prioritize him and our son over my friends. I manage such a large part of his business but in return he doesn't even want to go on holiday with me and I've even offered to pay. So AITA that I think he shouldn't be prioritizing his friend when he only takes 1 holiday a year? Just to be clear, I've never said he can't go and never would. He's free to do as he pleases but I wouldn't be happy about it. There's nothing stopping him taking more time off. He could even go for a long weekend to France but nope, he wants the week. Edit 1. My husband knows about this post and has asked me to update the post with some info. His friend is his only friend and he's moved to France and he only sees him when he comes back to the UK usually once a year. He says he has no other friends to do anything with which is why he wants to go on holiday next year with his friend. Edit 2. Firstly, let me thank everyone who has commented. I wanted to know if the problem was with me or him and it definitely feels like it's with him so I feel completely validated with how I feel. Secondly, it was becoming too difficult to respond to everyone so I thought I'd give an update here, plus clear a few things up. We have booked to go to Val d'Isère in March for 5 days to go skiing etc. and to visit his friend as that's where he lives. We've got a hire car so we can explore the area as well as my husband getting to hang out with his friend. I have no issue with chilling in our hotel room one evening while he goes out with his friend for food/drinks and I don't mind doing a bit of skiing with his friend either. There will still be plenty of time for us to have quality time. We've also booked our summer holiday to go to Greece for 10 days in a villa with a hire car. He read most of your comments or said he knew he was being a dick but he was just trying to get his point across that he doesn't see his friend that often because of where he lives. Apparently he was hypothetically saying that if he only had the time for 1 holiday, why couldn't he do what he wanted? We've talked about it and he knows how it made me feel. He apologized and that's why we've booked a few holidays. Now, for all the other stuff. In my original post I said he was a good husband, we didn't really fight, nothing else major had happened. This is true. I've seen a lot of comments saying he doesn't like me, he doesn't spend time with me, I'm his free labor and I do all the housework. None of this is true. Housework is split although I probably do more out of choice as I like things as a particular way. He's very hands-on though and will regularly load/unload the dishwasher, put the washing machine on etc. Plus he does all of the garden work as he loves it, I don't. We do also spend time together, we often spend weekends hiking or go for days out. It was the holidays that stopped because of his business. In relation to me not being paid, I can't reiterate this enough. This is my choice. I'm already a higher taxpayer so I don't want paid to lose even more in tax. I do my husband's accounts and without going into detail, there's a reason I don't take money. Like I said, I do get other benefits though. Finally, thank you all for commenting as it was all your comments that made him realize on this occasion he was being a bit of a twat, but I think he knew this. He's not always a twat though. Most of the time he's good to me but people have shit days and sometimes say and do stuff they regret. I'm not a perfect wife either, I probably snap too much and want things a certain way. There is one thing I'm certain of though, I know he loves me and that we are each other's best friends. Comment giving insight into Oops son's dad. I've been where you are and was a similar age. I had been with my son's dad since I was 22 and within a year I was pregnant with our son. It wasn't long after my son was born I started thinking that I wasn't attracted to him anymore, not with how he looked, it was more his personality. I told him how I felt when I was sure but he would do anything and everything he could to keep us together. Money was joint, I was only working PT because I went back to uni, and he made it impossible to untangle finances so that I could be free. Or he'd take our son to my parents and tell them I wanted to leave him and split our family up so they put pressure on me to stay. He'd break down crying on his knees and beg me not to leave, or he'd tell my son I didn't love his daddy anymore so he'd have to move away. This went on for 9 years. For 9 years I was trapped with a man I didn't love and lost so many of my best years. Until one night I snapped. We were part of a gym, he followed me there after I'd joined and also joined the same club, and went to a lifting club. I was actually very good, so started training with the men as I was competition good. That meant I had a coach, the same person who led the club. I also had PT sessions with him, so spent a lot of time with him. The inevitable happened and feelings got involved. I tried more than once during this time to break it off with my BF, but he just wouldn't accept it. We all went on a Christmas night out, everyone from the club was there including my BF. What happened next is a blur and I don't understand why I did what I did. I was sat at a table with my coach with no idea or care about where my BF was. It was like he didn't exist, I didn't even think about him. We started holding hands under the table, we thought secretly, but of course everyone could see, including my BF. His friend came over and told me he'd gone home, I didn't care. I went home with my coach that night. The next morning I was appalled at my behavior so much so that I knew I was going home to end it for good. I didn't care he'd try and convince me, I'd crossed a line and done something I've never done before and would never do again. I hate cheating. It was ugly, very ugly. He cried and wailed and was on his knees begging me. I just kept on telling him it was over, I'd crossed a line. I didn't tell him I'd slept with my coach, I didn't want to hurt him, but I told him that I couldn't promise I wouldn't in the future, which is why we had to end. Everyone fell out with me, my family, friends. I was completely alone and it was my fault. My ex did move away, he joined the Navy, so left our son with me. He went from seeing his dad every day to a couple of times a year, so the whole time was horrible and my son was heartbroken and it was my fault. 4 months after my ex moved out, he took most of our furniture too, sofa, fridge, bed and TV. I met my now husband. I was 34 when I left my ex and was not looking for another partner at all, but it happened. We've been together 10 years now, very happily married, he's literally my soulmate. My ex is also happily married and we have a good relationship. My son is 21 now and has another family. My husband raised him from 10 and they also have a good relationship. My point is, don't delay this any longer. Don't lose 9 years of your life like I did.